Have you ever looked in the mirror, lipstick already applied, and felt like something just didn't look quite right, like the vibrance you expected somehow dimmed your face instead of lifting it? You're not alone. Many of us, often unknowingly, are clinging to lipstick shades that no longer flatter us the way they once did. It's not about age catching up, it's about the colors we once loved quietly turning against us as our skin evolves. And while it might seem like a small detail, the truth is, the wrong lipstick can add years to your appearance in ways that are both subtle and startling. So before you swipe that familiar shade across your lips again, join me as we uncover which 3 colors may be doing you more harm than good and what you can do today to let your natural beauty shine through again. She stood in front of the mirror, like she did every morning, reaching for that familiar tube of lipstick deep crimson, the very shade she had worn since her wedding day decades ago. There was a time when that color made her feel radiant, bold, invincible. But lately, something about her reflection no longer matched the way she felt inside. Her lips, once full and defined, now bore the fine lines of age, and the lipstick she once adored seemed to have turned against her. It bled into the creases, darkened the corners of her mouth, and made her skin appear dull and tired. And yet, she held on to it, believing it was still the key to her youthful glow. It's a familiar story, one echoed silently in homes across the world where aging women, full of grace and wisdom, unknowingly fall victim to the subtle sabotage of a once beloved cosmetic. The truth is, beauty changes with age, but few are willing to admit that some of the very tools we use to appear younger can instead betray us. Lipstick, a symbol of femininity and confidence, can ironically become a mirror, highlighting what time has gently altered. And the culprit is not time itself, but color. Those deep, dramatic tones that once turned heads can now cast shadows on thinning lips, draw unwanted attention to creases, and make the entire face seem harsher. The illusion of beauty becomes a trap when we cling to colors that no longer harmonize with our changing skin tone. Skin loses its natural rosiness with age. It becomes more translucent, more prone to uneven patches, and less reflective of the light. Dark lipstick on such a canvas becomes too bold, too sharp, creating a stark contrast that ages the face rather than softens it. And yet, so many women hold on to these colors, not out of vanity, but out of memory of how it used to feel to wear them, of who they used to be. That nostalgia, powerful and deep-rooted, keeps them returning to the same palette, unaware of the silent transformation happening before their eyes. It is not a question of abandoning beauty, but of evolving with it. The true tragedy lies not in wrinkles or age spots, but in being misled by habits that no longer serve the face we live in now. And the cosmetics industry rarely addresses this. Ads still feature vibrant, youthful models wearing colors that look striking on 20-year-old skin, not realizing that older skin requires a gentler hand, a more thoughtful approach. A soft mauve can brighten the complexion, a muted rose can lift the mouth, even a sheer berry tone can create a glow that mimics youth better than any bold red ever could at this stage of life. But who tells women this? Who dares to suggest that beauty should be reimagined, not repeated? Often, no one. So we reach again for that old tube, swipe it across our lips, and wonder why the mirror doesn't smile back the way it used to. It's not just about color, it's about dignity, self-perception, and the power of adaptation. Aging is not a loss, but a shift. And the moment we recognize that the tools we used in youth may no longer serve us, is the moment we reclaim authority over our appearance. There is power in choosing tones that flatter rather than fight our natural changes. There is strength in letting go of a color that once defined us, and finding a new one that embraces who we are today. Many women, after discovering this, report something extraordinary. They begin to see themselves again, not as a shadow of the past, but as a woman still evolving, still beautiful, still whole. A softer lipstick shade doesn't mean surrender, it means wisdom. It means understanding how light plays on your skin now, how warmth can return to your face with the right undertone, how beauty becomes quieter, deeper, more soulful with age. And for those who dare to make the shift, the result is often stunning. Not because they suddenly look younger, but because they finally look like themselves, clear-eyed, confident, and truly seen. So the next time you reach for that old lipstick, pause. Ask yourself, is this still me, or is it just a memory? And if the answer is the latter, know that a new color is waiting for you, not to replace the woman you were, but to honor the woman you are now. Because true beauty never fades. It simply learns to speak in softer, wiser shades. And yet, as so many women begin to awaken to the quiet truth whispered by the mirror, another question rises. Which colors are doing this to me? What exact shades have become the silent conspirators, stealing the softness from our expressions and replacing it with something colder, harsher, almost foreign? Experts have pointed to 3 specific lipstick colors that, despite their popularity, can dramatically age a face that has gracefully matured. First among these is the infamous deep burgundy or wine red, a shade that once felt regal and sophisticated. On younger skin, it exudes elegance and confidence. But on older lips, burgundy becomes unforgiving. It sinks into every crease, exaggerates every uneven patch, and casts shadows where there used to be light. What's worse, it drains the color from surrounding skin, making complexions appear grayish or tired. Women who wear it often think they're choosing boldness, but instead they're highlighting the very things they wish to disguise: the feathering around the lips, the fading contour of the Cupid's bow, the loss of plumpness that once defined a youthful smile. And so, unknowingly, they mask their radiance behind a veil of darkness. The second color on this list may surprise even more: bright neon pink. It is loud, cheerful, energetic, and utterly merciless. At first glance, it seems like the perfect antidote to aging, a pop of fun in a world that tells older women to fade into the background. But neon pink is a treacherous flirt. It draws all attention to the lips, but not in the flattering way we imagine. Instead, it clashes with the natural softness of aged skin, making every line, every pigment irregularity, every bit of texture stand out under stark contrast. Neon tones work best on taut, evenly toned skin. They bounce light and create a dramatic, youthful glow if the skin still carries that youthful bounce. But on mature faces, neon has the opposite effect. It overpowers, overstates, and ultimately overwhelms the delicate harmony we need. And yet, many women keep reaching for it, inspired by magazine covers, celebrities, or old memories of a time when that color felt like rebellion and joy. But age deserves elegance, not visual shouting. A more muted pink or rosewood tone can uplift without assaulting the senses, giving a whisper of youth instead of a scream of artificiality. Then there is bright orange or fiery coral, often marketed as tropical, modern, or bold. These shades are frequent choices during warmer months, or for women who want to feel like they're embracing life with zest and energy. But orange, more than most colors, fights with the undertones of aging skin. As we grow older, the pinks and warm neutrals in our skin fade, replaced by cooler, sometimes even olive or yellow undertones. Orange lipstick clashes hard with that base. It can cause the skin to look sallow, as if it has lost its freshness and hydration. Worse, it makes the teeth look yellow, an unfortunate side effect that instantly adds years to the mouth. And yet, just like the other 2 culprits, it's a color worn in good faith because it once brought compliments, once looked stunning in photos, once matched that favorite summer dress. But seasons change, skin changes, and colors must evolve with them. What looked youthful at 30 may look theatrical at 60. That shift is not a loss, it's a chance to redefine beauty on your own terms. So why, knowing this, do so many mature women still choose these shades? The answer lies deeper than just habit. It's emotional. These colors carry identity. A woman who wore deep burgundy to boardrooms and weddings may see it not just as makeup, but as a part of her history. The neon pink might remind her of dancing in her 20s, feeling wild and carefree. The orange might bring back a vacation in her 40s where she felt seen, beautiful, alive. Color is memory, and to change a lipstick is sometimes to face the bittersweet truth that we are not who we once were. But here is the beauty in that truth. You are more. You are layered, textured, wise. Your beauty is no longer a performance for other sites, a private sanctuary. And in that sanctuary, certain colors no longer belong. They are too loud for the serenity you now carry, too sharp for the kindness in your eyes, too flashy for the quiet power in your smile. Choosing the right lipstick shade is not about surrendering to agates, about celebrating it without camouflage. Because nothing glows like confidence, and no color flatters more than one chosen with self-awareness. The world is finally beginning to realize that beauty in later life is not about competing with youth, but about outshining it in grace. Women who dare to experiment, who set aside the dramatic reds, the blinding pinks, the tropical oranges often find something remarkable. Their face softens, their eyes brighten, their expression regains the warmth that heavy colors had dulled. A soft berry flush, a creamy rose, or a gentle nude with a golden undertone can work small miracles. These shades do not shout over your features. They amplify them gently, like a warm lamp instead of a spotlight. And most importantly, these shades let the real you shine through. Because aging is not a loss of beauty, but the unveiling of a deeper kind. You no longer need to hide behind color. You can choose it to uplift, to enhance, to embrace. So next time you reach for that tube, pause. Ask not just if the color is pretty, but if it is kind to the woman you've become. Because you are not less vibrant now. You are simply glowing in a different light. And the right shade doesn't try to change who you are, it reflects her with love. And even as the mirror begins to whisper truths and the heart starts to recognize that some colors no longer serve it, a stubborn force resists, change, a quiet, familiar defiance nestled deep within. Why, we wonder, do so many of us hold on so tightly to shades that no longer flatter us? Why does the hand instinctively reach for that same old tube, the one that's cracked, worn, half used but never quite abandoned? The answer, like many things in life, isn't found in vanity, but in memory. That lipstick is not just color, it's history. It's a frozen frame of youth, of a version of ourselves we're afraid to let go of. For many older women, that color once marked the beginning of something powerful. Their first job interview, a first kiss, a celebration after a promotion, the day they became a wife, or the night they became a mother. To let go of that shade feels like cutting the last thread, connecting them to a version of life that once felt unbreakable. That burgundy, that neon pink, that coral orange, it's not just makeup. It's a living memory, a symbol, a shield, and sometimes a disguise. You see, aging is not only a physical process, it's an emotional terrain, layered with grief, transformation, nostalgia, and deep, unspoken reckoning. Each wrinkle tells a story, but not all stories are ones we're ready to face. So we reach for the colors that once made us feel strong, beautiful, bold. It's not because we are blind to change. It's because we fear what change means. Does switching to a softer tone mean we're surrendering? Are we admitting something to the world, or worse, to ourselves, that we're no longer the vibrant woman we once were? These are the silent questions that haunt the heart as we age. Society, after all, hasn't been kind to aging women. It glorifies youth and romanticizes wrinkle-free faces, often ignoring the extraordinary strength, grace, and sensuality of older age. And in that climate, something as simple as a lipstick becomes a statementa declaration that we are still here, still worthy, still vivid. But this clinging has a cost. When we wear shades that fight with our natural complexion, that highlight fatigue instead of radiance, we risk betraying the very beauty we're trying to preserve. We may unknowingly reinforce a narrative that says we are outdated, trying too hard, refusing to adapt. The tragedy is that these intentions come from a place of deep self-love and longing, yet the result is often the opposite of what we hope. And so the cycle repeats. We put on that same color, look in the mirror, feel something is off, but we can't quite name it. We chalk it up to aging itself, not realizing that the lipstick is the accomplice. And even when someone gently suggests a change, it can feel like an insult, a suggestion that we've been doing it wrong, that our choices are no longer valid. But that isn't the truth. The truth is, change is not correction, it is evolution. And evolution is a sign of wisdom. Still, breaking free from habit isn't easy. Think of how many things have already changed, how your body has surprised you, how your energy has shifted, how your role in the family may have evolved from being the center to the silent observer. In a life of so much change, it's natural to want something to stay the same. That lipstick, the same one from your 30s or 40s, might feel like the last relic of a time when your reflection felt more familiar. But here's where the most powerful shift can happen. When you realize that you're not the same, and that's not a curse, it's a triumph, you have endured, you have softened and sharpened in all the right places. You are not meant to look the way you did at 20. You are meant to look like someone who has lived fully, deeply, honestly. And the right lipstick, it doesn't erase that truth. It honors it. Imagine standing before the mirror, but this time, choosing a different color knot, one that tries to resurrect the past, but one that embraces the present. Perhaps a warm nude that makes your eyes sparkle instead of drawing them down. Perhaps a muted berry that softens the lips and makes your skin glow. Perhaps a dusky rose that highlights your kindness, your calm, your power. In that small act of change, a quiet revolution begins. You're no longer dressing your face in yesterday's dreams. You're coloring it in today's truth. And for many women, that moment is emotional. Tears may come not of sadness, but of release, because they finally realize they are allowed to change. That letting go of the old does not mean letting go of self. In fact, it's the opposite. It's returning to self-stripped of societal pressure, unburdened by nostalgia, free to love who they are now. And that freedom, that's what truly makes a woman glow. And so, once the old colors are finally set, acid and not in shame, but in peace, a door opens to a new kind of discovery, one that doesn't chase the past, but honors the present. The question now shifts from, what have I lost, to what can I illuminate? Because the truth that no one tells you loudly enough is this: aging skin is not something to conceal, it's something to harmonize with. It holds a different kind of beauty, one built not on perfection but on presence. And choosing the right lipstick shades can do more than change a look. It can awaken a radiance that even youth cannot rival. This is the moment where color becomes a companion, not a competitor. When chosen thoughtfully, lipstick becomes a soft brush that paints vitality onto the canvas of experience, lifting the face, brightening the eyes, and gently whispering, "You are still stunning, just in a different light now." So what are these smart choices? What colors can echo the grace and strength of mature skin rather than shout over it? The answer begins with understanding how your skin has changed. As we age, our skin tends to lose warmth, blood flow slows, and undertones shift. The youthful blush once naturally present in the cheeks and lips begins to fade, often leaving behind a cooler, more muted complexion. That's why certain bold or bright shades now feel off. They're no longer syncing with your base tones. The key is to reintroduce warmth and softness where time has gently taken it away. And that's where rosewood tones, soft berries, warm mauves, and peachy nudes come in. These are not dull compromises. These are secret weapons. They blend, lift, and soften without overpowering. They are like good friends, subtle, supportive, and always making you look your best without ever stealing the spotlight. Take, for example, a soft, dusty rose. It carries just enough color to define the lips, but not so much that it feels theatrical. This tone mimics the natural lip hue of youth, but with a maturity that speaks of grace. It warms up the face, harmonizes with silver hair, and brightens the teeth, something deep reds often fail to do. Then there's the muted berry tone that works beautifully for evening dinners or family gatherings. It adds richness without harshness, presence without pretense. Unlike neon pinks, which scream for attention, berry whispers confidence. Or consider a creamy peach nude, particularly flattering for olive or golden toned skin that's aged gracefully into a softer hue. This shade can erase the dullness that often settles around the mouth and reflect light in a way that gives an almost candlelit glow to your features. And don't overlook texturate matters just as much as tone. As lips age, they lose volume and develop fine lines. Matte lipsticks, though trendy, often cling to every crease and suck moisture from the lips. They age the mouth faster than any color can fix. Instead, look for satin or creamy finishes they glide on, hydrate, and give a plump, soft focus effect that revives rather than reveals. A slight sheen-not gloss can reflect light and make lips appear fuller, smoother, more alive. Lipsticks infused with moisturizers, vitamin E, or hyaluronic acid can act like both makeup and treatment, blurring lines while giving you a polished finish. It's a small change with enormous impact. And don't be afraid to use a lip liner, either not to overdraw dramatically like internet trends suggest, but to redefine the natural borders of your lips that may have faded over time. A liner in a shade close to your lipstick can prevent feathering, improve shape, and bring clarity back to the smile. But beyond technique, beyond product, lies the deeper magic. When you choose shades that lift you instead of fight you, your entire presence shifts. You begin to feel in alignment with the face you wear. You don't put on lipstick and sigh in frustration. You smile, genuinely. You see yourself reflected back, not as someone trying to recapture youth, but someone proudly owning where she stands today. You may start to receive compliments not on your lipstick, but on your glow. People may say, "You look so well," or "There's something so fresh about you today." That's not just pigment on lip sits, alignment between color and confidence. What's remarkable is how often this change stirs something deeper. Women who find their new color often say it feels like coming home to themselves. It's not rare for them to stand in front of the mirror with their new shade and feel a rush of recognition. There I am. And once you felt that moment, there's no turning back. You no longer want the lipstick that worked at your daughter's graduation 20 years ago. You want the one that works now for today's youth, woman who's wiser, maybe a little more weathered, but infinitely more powerful. And once you find that shade, it becomes more than makeup. It becomes ritual. You wear it to the market, to doctor visits, to your morning coffee with friends, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because it feels like armor, not heavy, but reassuring, like silk rather than steel. You become the woman who wears her age like a crown, not a burden. And all because of a color that knew how to speak your languages oft. Seasoned, true, but even with the perfect shade and finish, there's one final truth that cannot be overlooked, and it's the quiet, often forgotten foundation beneath it all. The health and care of the lips themselves. The most flattering lipstick in the world cannot shine on lips that are dry, cracked, or neglected. And yet, for so many older women, lip care is an afterthought, something that slips through the cracks between skincare routines and morning rituals. We moisturize our cheeks, apply sunscreen to our necks, even massage oil into our joints, but the lips, the very frame of our smile, our voice, our expression, are often left to endure in silence. Time, after all, doesn't only soften skin and fade pigment, it steals moisture from the lips too. It thins them, blurs their edges, and etches fine lines around them like forgotten handwriting on an old letter. And if we don't step in gently but deliberately, those signs will speak louder than any color ever could. Lipstick, when worn on an unprepared canvas, settles into every fissure like water tracing the cracks of drought. What should be smooth and radiant becomes jagged and dull. It bleeds into the lines above the mouth, pooling around the edges like sorrow. It clings to flaky patches, draws attention to dryness, and ages a face far more than time alone ever could. But the power to change this completely is within reach. The lips, unlike many parts of the aging body, respond quickly to attention. A touch of care, a moment of ritual, and they begin to revive as though they've been waiting patiently for their turn. And here, the smallest acts become the most transformative. A gentle exfoliation once or twice a week, not with harsh scrubs, but with a damp cloth or a natural sugar balm can, slough away dead cells and awaken the true softness beneath. This isn't vanity, it's kindness. It's preparation. It's saying, you matter. And then there is hydration, not just water in a glass, but nourishment directly for the lips. Lip balms rich in shea butter, jojoba oil, or hyaluronic acid can plump, soothe, and smooth with remarkable effect. But it's not about slathering anything on and hoping for the best. The trick is consistency, applying balm before bed so that lips repair overnight, using it after brushing your teeth to rehydrate what the toothpaste stripped away, even tapping a bit on before lipstick to create a cushion between skin and pigment. These simple steps aren't just about improving the look of lipstick, they're about honoring a part of yourself that still speaks for you every single day. Think about it. Your lips smile at grandchildren, kiss cheeks, speak wisdom, sip morning tea, whisper prayers, and laugh with friends. They deserve reverence. And let us not forget the area around the lips, the often ignored ring where lipstick feathers, where age loves to leave its signature. The fine lines here are delicate, but they can deepen fast without care. A small dab of your daily moisturizer or eye cream patted around this area can help maintain elasticity and softness. You don't need expensive treatments or painful procedures, just attention, patience, and the belief that you're worth the effort. And you are. Because when the lips are cared for, the lipstick becomes more than color. It becomes harmony. It sits better. It lasts longer. It reflects light more beautifully. It glides rather than drags. And the result isn't just aesthetics, it's emotional. You feel ready. You feel composed. You feel seen. And there is something quietly defiant about an older woman whose lips are cared for, not overdrawn, not Botoxed, but respected. She doesn't need approval. She doesn't seek permission. She wears her lipstick like punctuation, a soft period at the end of a sentence she chose. Her smile has nothing to prove and everything to offer. In a world obsessed with youth, her lips do not shout, "Look at me," they whisper, "I am still here, and I have something to say." Because dignity isn't about looking younger. It's about looking like someone who refuses to disappear. Someone who still chooses beauty, not out of insecurity, but out of love for herself. Lip care, in that way, becomes something sacred. It's not frivolous. It's foundational. It's a silent act of resistance against the idea that older women should fade into the background. And perhaps even more beautifully, it becomes a ritual of self-connection. Many women find that caring for their lips leads them to care for themselves more deeply in other ways. They notice their breath, their posture, the way they carry their chin. They speak with more ease. They laugh more freely. Because when you tend to your mouth, the very gateway of your voice, you inevitably tend to your sense of self. It's no coincidence that ancient cultures placed importance on the mouth as a symbol of power. To care for it is to reclaim that power. And lipstick, when layered on cared for lips, becomes less of a cosmetic and more of a coronation. So let this be your invitation, not just to toss out old lipsticks or buy new ones, but to begin a gentle revolution of attention, to exfoliate not for vanity, but for vitality, to hydrate not to impress others, but to nourish yourself, to line your lips not to mimic trends, but to honor their changing shape with grace, and most of all, to wear your chosen shade as a celebration not of the woman you used to be, but of the one you've become. A woman whose lips have spoken truths, kissed away tears, smiled through storms, and now, finally, speak love first and foremost to herself. And maybe, just maybe, this isn't really about lipstick at all. Maybe it's about finally turning toward ourselves with gentleness, choosing colors and care routines, not to hide age, but to highlight the life we've lived. So now, I'd love to hear from you. Which lipstick shade have you worn for years? And after hearing this, are you thinking of trying something new? Share your thoughts or your favorite lip care tips in the comments. I read every one. And if this video helped you see yourself in a softer, truer light, give it a thumbs up and pass it along to a friend or sister who deserves to feel beautiful too. You carry stories on your lips your whole life. Isn't it time they were told in a shade that finally honors them?